it all again. See what the blue team can get with this.
Hello everybody and welcome back here on the Heroes Lounge main channel. My name is Samu. I'm still with you as the host for the rest of the day. And today I will be joined now with the Mr. Stream himself of Heroes Lounge Transparent. And he's joined by the finest casters of yesterday. Pets, welcome.
Thank you very much, Sammy. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this series. Division 2 has always had a soft spot in my heart. I'm not sure if anyone can tell that by looking at my Heroes Lounge page, where I have only played in Division 2. So being here for the last final and it being Division 2 is truly an honor that I could have literally just made happen, but Sammy was the one who picked it all. So here we are. And Pets is back, of course, after the fantastic class yesterday of Division 3.
Yeah, I can't wait. Also really enjoyed Division 2. Also has a soft spot. I think I casted quite a few when I had time before my trip. Casted like mostly Division 2, so it was nice to see some of these teams in the playoffs, in the finals. Looking forward to it.
Indeed, and as we are about to jump into it, let's have a quick look over the stats of the teams.
Yeah, of course, you know, these guys, they've played a lot of similar stuff here in the past, of course, you know, as we can see on the screen. I'm not sure which one you're showing first,
Level
Sammy.
5 Goose warning we've got first. Where the most banned heroes, two of them pretty obvious, Dukov and Joanna. Rega not making quite the cut there. Instead, Diablo is on the third spot, so that junkie boy not picked up often by opponents of Level 5 Goose warning, as they usually tend to ban him out.
Yeah, and of course, you know, we've got the most picked maps here. Interestingly, Battlefield of Eternity, our first map that we're starting on, spoilers, has only been picked once in the main season, well, 3 times by Level 5 Goose Warning, and never by InVain. So it's really going to be a bit of an open start here for these two teams, rather than sort of having some good old faithfuls of maybe the Tomb of the Spider Queen, etc.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see the Battlefield of Eternity being the first map. I would say it's a lot more of a brawly map to be playing. A lot less macro, as it is only 2 lanes. So it would be interesting to see like the teams coming out, looking for those fights, looking for those team combos, and how they draft for this first map. And
yeah, so with this, we will be getting into the draft pretty soon, of course. Yeah, these maps coming out here. Yeah, we did have a few maps banned out a little bit earlier.
Indeed, we have Cursed Hollow and Towers of Doom banned by InVain, and Level 5 Goose Warning decided to ban out Outruck Pass and Volskaya Foundry, and then InVain with the map choice bringing us towards Battlefield of Eternity, as you mentioned already, for map number 1.
So here we are into the draft straight away. As I say, I tried to look up some of the stats for these guys. Turns out they didn't really play the game much. All I can say is that Level 5 Goose Warning once picked Diablo on this map. Interesting stuff. I think the big thing that's going to be contested here, from knowledge of some of these teams in the past, is the Li Ming. And it's a really big, important pick on Battlefield of Eternity, able to get some of those late game resets if you need to sort of come back into the game, as well as just having a good ranged poke onto the Immortal, as well as, you know, having Triumvirate really helps with resetting that orb when you're trying to poke, but the enemies are blocking it, but then you just get a reset anyway. Pets, what are you looking out for here?
well, we do know that the teams share a bit of a overlap with their favorite heroes. For example, Sylvanas, we see that ban on Sylvanas by the Geese for this first round, and both teams actually play her quite often in the season. It was picked up 9 times by the Goose and 13 times from InVain. So good first ban. I think both teams did a bit of scouting. Of course, for the finals, want to look at what the other teams plays, what their comforts are. I think Nubarak might also, that's going to be the next ban, because that's also a very high pick, a very high win rates hero for the side of InVain. Picked it up 13 times with a 90% win rate. So we might see that Nubarak being banned out very often during this series.
Yeah, and we've now seen the standard Medivh ban against Level 5 Goose Warning here. And people might be wondering, why the Medivh ban? Why is this happening? Fizzeev 30k on the other side, you might be able to tell by his name, is well known for being a Medivh main. So it very often brings out a ban, which helps out a lot in draft if you've got one of those one-trick ponies.
Nice to see the Blaze first pick. Very
Yeah.
strong hero at the moment. Really good offlaner as well.
Also, Blaze has very high priority from both of those teams, as we've seen
And-
per stats, so it's not surprising to see him being picked up very early.
Another high priority hero for both teams would be Anduin. I think both teams play him quite often as a favored healer. So there we do see him coming out here as well as the Hanzo. So pretty good start, I think, for both sides. And in terms of damage, I think they also like the bird, the geese, you know. Part of the bird squad fall stat is also DPS that they pick up quite often with a very high win rate. So we might see that, might see another hero. It's going to be the Val instead. Like that,
Yeah.
it's good for the race.
As I say, I'm really shocked that we aren't seeing Li Ming come in already, but I guess, that Valor is very important, and Stukov being this late into the draft really sort of shows that priority on Anduin that InVain have.
Indeed, also
And-
Vala, very high priority pick from level 5 Goose Warning, usually often also played with double support comp to let Fizz hyper carry on the Vala. Let's see if we're gonna see it on Battlefield of Eternity, but for now, we're gonna see the bird, as you mentioned, Pets. Falstad, he's being removed by InVain.
Yeah, gonna be curious to see what tank the side of InVain will go with here. There's still a Johanna available. She's fallen off a bit, but still a popular pick. We also have Garage. I think that's also a decent pick for them. But it's actually going to be the Muradin, okay. But they do have the Li Ming, as Transparent mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I was banging on about it a bit too much, perhaps, but here we see finally picked up the Muradin being an interesting pick. Obviously, we've had a lot of the tanks sort of banned out. I say a lot of them. Anubrak and Diablo. Obviously, Johanna's not a major pick on here, but I'm surprised that Garrosh wasn't picked up a little bit earlier. Perhaps this is just a bit of a pick that Snitch prefers, or Snatcher prefers. But there we see Uther and Johanna coming out here. This is a bolstered front line for the side of level 5 Goose Warning.
I think it's fair. Probably they wanted for the Vala, keep her safe throughout these fights. But I really like it so far from the Geese. One last pick. Guess they will have their offlaner here. Perhaps a Leoric, maybe Sonya. Those are probably the best choices. So it will be the Sonya.
Look at that.
In the race.
Already called it out, Pets. You said the Sonya, and et voila, there it is. Sonya appears already. Of course, we do have our channel prediction points up and available above the Twitch chat. If it is available in your country, then please make sure you get predicting here right now. Get all those points in. I had 100k points before at the start of this season. I'm down to 3.5k. Perhaps my betting hasn't been quite so well, Pets.
Here, I'll throw in a couple of those points.
Indeed, and for Love Life Goose Warning, we have that Hyper Carry Vala combo on the other side. We do have that Hanzo and Ming, which both usually have a very high priority on Battlefield of Eternity, both picked up by InVain here. And yeah, Arrow with Leap together can be quite some heavy engage into the heavy frontline of Level 5 Goose Warning in this game number 1.
Yeah, I am a little bit concerned, a little bit worried from the side of level 5 Goose Warning. Obviously, Valor is an absolute powerhouse, and they have a lot of lockdown with the Stukov silence as well. But Li Ming and Hanzo tend to be at enough range that they shouldn't be affected too much. So it will be whether Sonya and Muradin can get felled. But here we go. We're going into the final.
Yeah, we say goodbye to Samuel for a bit while we can take care of this game. And would you like to start off with the Geese on the red side?
Yeah, absolutely. Here on the red side, we do have the level 5 Goose one. We have Lucas on that Uther, Fazeev on the Valor, Eri playing Johanna, Martin on the Stukov, and then, of course, Craterdell on Blaze.
Meanwhile, for the side of InVain, we have Bazarcade playing Sonya, also got Grim on Hanzo, Jolly the Psych playing Anduin, Snatcher on Muradin, and Venom playing the Li Ming. And you see the teams meeting up in the bottom here. Vala going with the auto attack stacks.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is quite essential when you have her as the only DPS. Looking to really focus down. I'm pretty sure Sonya is going to be the target here. You know, she suffers against CC and will be the one that sort of Valor can put damage onto. So pretty sure that will be their plan here of Goose Warning. But it's going to be tough when they're in those sort of team fights that, you know, they're going to be positioned very aggressively. But I don't think blue team are really going to care.
Yeah, they have a lot of poke. It's really good with the Hanzo and Li Ming, both pretty high range. We'll see with the race as well. I think other than the Vala, they don't have too much on the race. So I'm gonna be curious to see if they're gonna be setting up as like a 4-man defense on the Immortal while Vala races on her own.
Yeah, we do have, notably, Stukov has gone for low blow, so that's going to help a little bit with that damage, maybe finishing off some targets as well. Otherwise, yeah, here we see on the other side, I think Venom is going for, you know, a little bit more sustain here, as well as, of course, that spell power, spell armor. But yeah, up in the top here, they've traded out the bottom siege camp for the top siege camp. Very even Stevens right here in the Division 2 Grand Final right now.
Yes. Good job by the Hanzo to move up, help Sonya get that camp. It's depressing a bit there. And nice route here onto the Johanna in the bottom. Does force out the Iron Skin.
Yeah. As I say, it's sort of a bit of a trade here, and we're just seeing some general damage going either way. Obviously, you know, in the top lane, Blaze is doing a grand job defending it as well, but generally, we're just going to have to wait for the first objective. I think that's where things are going to be starting to get a bit spicy, pets.
Yes. But looking at Fizz, he's already at 31 stacks. It's pretty decent for only 2 minutes into the game, I'd say. So, good job positioning to get those poke into Muradin, I think, mostly, that he was stacking on. I do see InVain heading up to their bruiser camp. Might probably wait before the cap, I would assume. But we do see Eerie kind of fishing around there with Johanna.
Ooh, and I wonder
if taking it really early.
Yeah, I wonder if that prompted the blue team to take it a little bit early, just because that flash of light was there, and suddenly it's like, oh, can we deal with them?
Yeah, they probably didn't know how many were there too. Maybe nervous for an invade.
Yeah, but right now it seems like the red team are looking to sort of collapse down on the bot, but it is scouted out by the Hanzo arrow, so they'll just have to defend that blue bruiser camp pushing in. Pre-objective, a good advantage here. The red team can maybe try and find them in position to race or defend.
Yeah, so it looks like the Geese are looking to defend a bit here first. Nice stun here. And really good zoning. I really like the Labo by Stukov kind of taking out that positioning.
But here's the thing, you know, they're doing the zoning, and Fizzy is forced to come up top to try and sort of help with pushing them away as a DPS. Meanwhile, though, Li Ming is still poking away at the Immortal and getting some of the race done. Now, Vala has left. The blue team can feel a little bit more open. They're in a 5 versus 4. Even against all these tanky targets, they just want to get damage on the Immortal and prompt this half-time show.
And looks like it's a pretty close one here. Looks like InVain might just be edging it out, and they will be getting that halftime.
Yeah, so now the red team have a decision. Are they going to try and do any sort of race at all? Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Sonny is putting pressure on Fizz 30k. Bazzacade in a little bit of a trouble here, but it's just a distraction as we see a massive chunk of the Immortal is taken away just by one spell rotation from Venom and Grim 48.
Ooh, good stun there, though. We do see Li Ming dropping really low. We'll need a backup. Bazzacade barely almost got away, but will be finished off by the bounces from the Vala. So,
yeah, really nice split there from the red team, forcing the resources to be committed by the Anduin onto Jolly the Psych and Venom rather than saving Sonya.
Did buy them a bit of space with the kill onto Sonya, but I'm not sure if they're able to hold this with the Li Ming and Hanzo poking away at it.
It's an insane amount of ranged poke pets.
Yes. They do have a pretty chunky, like they have a lot of CC and stuns, but facing off against that, maybe once they get their 10s, they'll be able to find a more fair fight on the Immortals.
Yeah, of course, level 10s, you know, they'll have some tools to go with it. Johanna, obviously, level 10 is a big cooldown for her to utilize. Meanwhile, she gets caught out a little bit by the root, has to pop the Iron Skin. Means that they're not going to be able to step up quite as much as they'd like to in this Immortal defense. Martin, on the other hand, gets a nice slow silence onto Venom, but that will now be cancelled. So blue team pushing in here at the top. It looks like they're going to get this front wall, but a nice defense here, keeping Fizz in that zone. Just defending the Immortal means that I don't think too much damage is going to go on to this top four.
Yeah, and they will be able to burn that Immortal down before it gets too much damage on the floor. And
I'd say
looking at
this,
that, yes.
this is almost the weakness of the blue team here, is that Grim, you know, Hanzo and also Li Ming have great sort of Immortal poke. Great sort of general damage, but their actual structure damage isn't that good. You know, Li Ming has a 50% modifier, meaning that her damage doesn't do as much damage to structures, and of course Hanzo, Scatter Arrow doesn't even affect it.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it's a bit tricky for them to push in siege-wise, but we also have to remember it is also the first Immortal, and in terms of the shield, it was pretty low, so if they win a more decisive Immortal later on in the match, I think they can get that structure damage a bit more easily.
Yeah. What I'd have loved to have seen is Sledgehammer on Muradin. It's my favourite tower, possibly on Muradin, but I know the value, of course, of Thunderburn. There we go. So now red team just trying to get a little bit more siege on the top here. They're approaching level 10 a little bit earlier. They've been doing their work here, of course, pushing in on the structures as well as just soaking that XP a little bit better than the enemy team.
Ooh.
And another kill goes over to the side of the red team. That's going to boost them straight away to level 10, enabling to pick their heroic abilities. And we see it isn't Divine Storm, it's Divine Shield, and they get another kill.
Yeah, I just got absolutely blown up. Probably didn't expect the immediate ult pickups and the Blessed Shield. Really a good heads-up play there by Eerie. And they're going to get a fort out of this. Yep.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised by Divine Shield, but I suppose it makes sense with the solo DPS Valet if she's about to die. It's a quick easy thing, right?
It's like the emergency button, I think, for if Valet gets just a bit too close to death.
And let's be honest, they already have enough CC. Divine Storm would be a little bit overkill.
That's true.
Just a little bit.
But now, heading to this second Immortal.
Yeah, we're seeing the blue team picking up their camp earlier on to actually help them out here with this Immortal phase. Meaning the red team wasn't quite spawned in time to start it beforehand. They're going to have to deal with this after the half-time show, but instead we see a little bit of a positioning here. Level 10s, of course, now available. We have the leap. We have Dragon Strike coming out here as well.
There's a leap, but that's kind of nice. That's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah,
Sonic going to pay for it
as well. Bunker now being used, just a little bit of extra zoning.
I think there's a good opportunity there. Might have just been a bit of miscommunication on who to leap on. Looks like there's a bit of hesitation.
Yeah, they couldn't quite find the target they wanted. Disintegrate is a very interesting ability here we're seeing from Venom, helping a little bit with the poking on the Immortal. We'll see how that comes into good use later on, but we see a nice engaged here from Snatcher, trying to find something, but in the end, a healthy Immortal Shield is going over to a level 5 Goose Warning.
I would say I'm a bit surprised with the Dragon Strike pickup, but let's look into this fight. Bit of a brawl. Are they going to secure anything here?
Oh, Avatar and Leap of Faith have to be used. That's unfortunate here for the blue team. A good survivability tool and, of course, a saving tool. Both burned in one go. Now, the red team will be looking to try and push down this as hard as they can. And they have the composition for it, but they're keeping Blaze on top, soaking it. So it is a 4v5.
I think they'll still get this fort. I think there's a bit too much pressure. There's a Dragon Strike.
Yeah, and this is sort of the thing of Dragon Strike. It does do damage unless there's a Divine Shield, and Fizz was just able to live through that for so long because of Divine Shield. But, I can see we've had this sort of a couple of times in this whole weekend where teams are taking Dragon Strike more and more often. And I think it's just the fact that we're having tanks with a more reliable engage being picked up now. So they're looking to engage with the leap, with the light bomb, with just Muradin jumping in perhaps with the light bomb as well. So that Dragon's Arrow not really needed to help with the engage, and instead is looking for a follow-up, which Dragon's Arrow does do, well, Dragon Strike does do a lot of damage. Why are they both called Dragon something?
It's very confusing. I think I made that mistake during the cast yesterday, calling it Dragon's Arrow. I'm like, wait a second, it's actually
Oh,
strike.
Cradle in a bit of trouble here at the top.
Does
Has to pop the
bunker.
bunker, though. Snatcher might be in trouble. He doesn't have a leap away. Now the silence comes down, as well as the Rain of Vengeance. It's a lot of CC. He doesn't have Dwarf Toss. He goes down. Eri's still in the backline trying to find something, but Bazzacade leaps in, looking to get the damage onto Fizzy. No Divine Shield available for 20 seconds. The damage is still coming out here from the blue team, but ultimately they're going to have to retreat as they don't have that level 13 talent that the red team do over them.
I think that failing strike was a really great call from Stukov there. Was able to peel for the Vala. And the team's still looking to go back in, but they do have level 13s and May will have to back up here.
It's good to note that Stukov has gone for it hungers rather than the vigilant reaction that we have seen time and time again in the past. But yeah, this reset talent has become more and more popular. Well, I say in the last sort of 4 months, I'm going to go, maybe even longer. So getting those resets can be really, really good, especially with the amount of CC and slows that the red team have.
Yeah, and teams are setting up here now for the third Immortal, picking up their camp.
Yeah, big thank you to Yazoo here for raiding over all the viewers. Welcome to the grand final of the Division 2.
Thank you for the raid.
Division 2, Season 17, Heroes last season. Oh, we see a leap, we see another Dwarf Toss. The Divine Shield comes out, saving Valor, though.
Really great Divine Shield. Now she can hold her ground. It turns around, kills the Sonya. They're pushing back here. And Anduin dropping really low. It's going to be Murden falling first. But the Geese not stopping. They want to get everyone. And they get 3-4-0. Out 4. Sorry.
4-0. Johnny the Psych is still on the menu here for Cradle. He puts the slow down. Lucas is going forward, but I don't think the rest of the team is quite available to do it.
Yep. Very well played there. I think it was a good attempt from the team jumping in, but once they lost their positioning on the blue side, they just couldn't quite run fast enough with the turnaround.
Yeah, it's a little bit sort of tricky for them, certainly. You know, they are trying these engages, and it's one of those things where you have these two jump-in heroes, like the Sonya, like the Muradin, that at that moment in time, the backline sort of gets a little bit left out. And if Fizz is able to shred through the Sonya quick enough and then sort of put some weakness into Muradin, the rest of the backline will find themselves incredibly exposed to just the annoyance that Eri is doing on this Johanna.
Also gotta give it to Luca for that Divine Shield. Definitely saved the Vala from the double leap stun combo.
Yeah, but here's the issue. The Divine Shield is a long cooldown, but still, with that incredible engage from the blue team, they lose 2 members thanks to the bunker of Craterdell. And now the blue team have to run away, thinking about what are they going to do to defend against this next Immortal that's going to be pushing on the keep almost no wall.
Yep, full 3 levels up now for level 5 Goose Warning. I think they are kind of solidifying their position in this game. Full 11-2-0 in terms of kills as well. Gonna have a pretty decent Immortal. That should be pushing in to the top. Yep, since the whole bottom wall is down now.
Yeah, there's a lonely tower here in the top lane that is going to try and defend this Immortal for about 3 seconds before getting annihilated. But level 16, and it looks like the red team are going for that classic later on, but not very late game, split push on Battlefield of Eternity.
Yeah, I think it's a good call. We'll leave Sonya to try to defend the Immortal on her own.
Yeah,
and that's a nice shield. Wow.
Oh!
Hanzo just got absolutely blown up from the Blood Shields and Rain of Vengeance combo.
Bursted, popped, gone.
Yeah, they couldn't even press any buttons.
You know, when you're not wearing a lot of armor like Hanzo does, you've got to expect that. You know, maybe Hanzo should put on a little bit more clothing just to try and cover, you know. Well, you know, everyone hashtag free the nipple, but at the end of the day, Hanzo might want some more protective clothing.
So
as we push down with the Immortal, after the double keep play, it looks like the red team are backing out.
Yeah, I can write a letter to Blizzard on how they dress their future characters.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I just worry for Hanzo's health. You know.
That's fair.
I think we need to move off this, Pets. I think we need to move off this. So with that, level 16s are just around the corner from the blue team, and this could really help them. Hanzo gets a lot of variety of talents at level 16, a good bit of healing talents, as well as the double pull potentially from Anduin. Some of these things can really help them out in their survivability in this game.
Yes, we also have the double pull, I assume, from the Anduin, which will help with these fights as well. I think this is the time that InVain will need to look for a fight. Only have 2 levels to work with before level 20 is going to be reached for the Geese. So you see them positioning in the bottom. Probably want to see that.
There's just no space for a red team to try and catch them out. This wall is healthy at the bottom, right? I mean,
they also have a camp moving in the top that they have to deal with soon. So it's been unfortunate.
Are indeed backing away. They'll do that, but the red team can't really get anything else. Let's be honest. There's just time to wait for the Immortal. Push out the waves, wait for the Immortal. Win the Immortal because you don't have to just forget about the waves, whereas the blue team have to constantly think about it. Although this Bruiser camp could be a good point of contention, if the red team get baited into it, of course they are in the lead levels-wise. They don't want to do anything.
I think the question now is really what InVain can do into this comp, because we see they try to be preemptive, to dive into the Vala, but there's just too much tools on the side of Goose Warning to bail out of anything.
Oh, Blessed Shield missing. That's a crucial cooldown that could be a decider here for the blue team. What they need to do is try and bait out the Divine Shield early, try and get rid of it, and then try and re-engage after it is worn down. But here we see the Dragon Strike comes out already. It leaps on the side. Here comes there. They know that Valor's not here. The Valor is racing the Immortal. This is a 4 versus 5, but Martin tries to shove them away. Bazakade still putting the pressure onto Stukov, but will they fall too low? The rest of the red team is here to try and back up Marty. The Bazakade get pulled out, but Hanzo, left all alone in the backline, now gets focused by Fazeev onto Anduin as well, and there's going to be a 2-0 so far, and Snatcher is just in danger all by themselves.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 dead. Going to try to go for the rest of the team, but I think it was the same case as you said earlier. They did try the double leap onto the Vala, but then really left their backline exposed. We saw Sonya very deep into the backline of the East Warning, but no one really there to peel for the Hanzo. And Johanna will fall.
First blood here for InVain. Right at the end of the game. They battled through this game, but ultimately, level 5 Goose Warning have outclassed them in game number 1, almost having a flawless game. As I say this, it's taken a little bit of time to get the core down, of course. Yeah, another kill there. GG, well played. Game number 1 of this grand final goes over to level 5 Goose Warning.
Indeed, game number 1, very well played.
All right.
So, Samu, our man in the sky here, what have you got to say after that match? Well, game number 1 here of the series.
Level 5 Goose Warning, they got what they wanted. They got their hyper carry Vala with 4 heroes to support her. And that was not much InVain could do about it, because they just always tried to run in and run in and run in again. And it just didn't work. So I think they would have needed to just try and switch things up a little bit, not always try to force the engage. Maybe sometimes wait a bit longer and try to outpoke your opponents or something like that, but which is really hard in the double support usually. But they always engaged, and they were just not able to quite get the kill on the targets, especially that the Ufa Divine Shield was very, very big in saving those people on low health.
You're absolutely right. They run in. They run in, and at the end of the day, they just need to get it started.
Nice.
Yeah. So after that, we are seeing first pick being chosen here by InVain.
I wonder how many people actually got that reference.
I have just been sent a really disturbing meme, by the way, by a young white tiger who has superimposed Hanzo's body onto, or found a picture of Hanzo's body on Widowmaker's outfit, saying, "I heard you said I should have put on more clothes," and it is using a rather provocative picture of a bottom, I shall say the least. If you want that photo, please DM White Tiger. But otherwise, we are going to try to move past it. We're going to go to Tomb of the Spider Queen here on the next map.
Yep, and that was picked up by the Geese.
Yeah,
So-
it was indeed.
We'll be curious to see how they go with the first ban picks on the side of InVain. Because,
Yeah.
I think Samu was really on point there. I think they should have played more to the strengths of their comp. Even though they had the Sonya and the Muradin, there was 2 fights before that last one where we saw they tried to dive in on the Vala, was not working out. They have a good team for poke. Kind of just let Hanzo, Li Ming send out their spells, but it looks like they just were focusing a bit too much on trying to delete the Val early. It was just not working out for them. So
Yeah.
hopefully they go in the second game with a more clear plan.
Now, the sort of main hypercarry Vala is not as common on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and InVain have only actually played 1 map of Tomb of the Spider Queen in the whole season. So once again, it's a sort of an unknown experience for them. Perhaps, a few things were banned out. InVain are much more comfortable on these sort of quirky maps, Volskaya, Alterac, Sky Temple, but these things, a lot of them were banned out by level 5 Goose Warning. Volskaya was gone, as well as Alterac, really removing that comfort zone from them. So instead here, Tomb of the Spider Queen, this is where a few things come in from level 5 Goose Warning. This is where the Anumbrak has taken a lot for them. So we're going to expect to see that banned out as well. And potentially we might see a Maiev from Fiziv if they so wish. Of course, I've seen some people riskily play main tank Maiev. How insane is that, Pence?
I would say maybe it depends on the rest of the team. It can work out, but it is very hard, I would say, to pull off. If it's a comfort hero for Fizz, then I think it's a possibility. But having another tank is usually more preferred.
Samu, have you ever thought about running that main tank Maiev?
I did, but I did actually run main tank Maiev. I usually want to have some sort of CC tool and double support behind you, because with Maiev you don't lack damage in your team when you have her as a main tank. You want to have a second support or some more CC to really enhance her being able to pull in people and to try and kill people with Q. She also brings in a lot of wave clear and chem clear on her own, which makes it also very, very enjoyable to have her as a main tank, because you can have her, for example, clear the waves and then have Valo for Stukov or something, just try to brawl the opponents or something. So I think Maiev in general is a very nice pick for Tomb of the Spider Queen, and I would be surprised to not see her considered in this game at all.
Yep, so as I just bring up the stats for the 1 game of Tomb of the Spider Queen for InVain, it wasn't actually in the main season, it was in the playoffs, so I've got to actually do a little bit more digging to try and find when it was. I think it may have been against Carriers of Sheep, as it was a 100% win rate game. No, it wasn't. It was against Curso in the first quarterfinal. And InVain, they picked up sort of Holger, so I think that's going to be a contested pick, as well as having Sylvanas be a top priority for them here. Of course, they are playing sort of without Mantis today. They are instead playing with just Venom and Grim and Bazzacade. So, sometimes they do a little bit of a switcheroo on the side of InVain, but we're not seeing that here today.
Yep, and looks like players are good to go. Gonna be jumping into the draft soon here. And yeah, we'll be InVain with the first ban for spec.
Yep, and as we go into this, of course, we will be doing prediction points again. And of course, Season 18 is open to sign up. So make sure you go sign up now. I'm going to drop that in whenever I can.
But I'm curious to see the bans on the side of InVain, if they're going to look for some target bans. Did see some good plays coming out from the side of the Geese. The Johanna worked out quite well for them. Got some on-point plus shields. Also had the Blaze, which we might see as well. Again, pretty high win rate for both teams in terms of their Blaze picks.
Yep, so with this popping up here now, they're having a little bit of a think about it, trying to work out what might they want to get rid of. Of course, Stukov is still a priority hero up at the top, as well as Johanna being much more valuable on this map compared to what we saw yesterday.
We've also seen Stuka Roofer from the Gs in game number. What do you guys think about the healer, which I looked at for this game number 2?
Yep. And got the D first ban. So Sylvanas is up. Okay. Goose will be banning that out. Anubrak's still out. See if that's going to be banned or picked up from either side. And what was the other hero I remember? Blaze. Yep.
Yeah, Blaze,
That was-
of course.
Yeah.
Potential there. I do think that Johanna needs to go. I think they need to get rid of the Johanna. Unless they want to pick it, of course. I forget that they've got first pick now. What am I saying? It's the Blaze. You're right, pets. Ignore me, everybody. Ignore me.
I think Johanna could be fair. It also leaves Anubrak open though for the other team. They do go for the early Johanna pick. And we'll kind of see which one they would prioritize. I think Johanna's a bit better in terms of this map. So that will be the one that is banned out.
We have a lot of other good picks out. Very in Stukov still a possibility. The Ming as well. Usually not that play too much on Tomb as she lacks the wave clear, but if you get something like a Hanzo in or so, or something with good wave clear, he's also still a possibility to be picked up.
But
So
it does
there
look
we
like
see.
Anubrak. Yeah.
Yeah, Anubrak, but straight away we have Valor. They're making me eat my words, pets. They're making me eat my words. I said it was a BOE strat, it was just that. And now they're looking to pick it up here on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Think it's the
Stukov's
case
still
that,
available as well.
Don't fix what's not broken. But
Yeah.
But this
you do see the
time
Hogger.
yeah, we also see the Ana on the other side. So with Hogger, we've got spell power reduction, which reduces the healing on healers if they got hit by it on level 13. But we also have Ana with the anti-healing on her anti-healing grenade.
And we still have Stukop open here if they are looking to run a similar comp as the last one. Because I think they will want a double support again.
Yeah, I like the Ana pickup here, certainly. Simply because it's one of Anna's safer maps. So, it's hard to sort of gank her, find that angle that you want on her. And as well with the Hoggy, they really can do stuff. So it'll be interesting to see. We do have a Stukov band up, but there is still Anduin if they want to go for that as well.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason not to go for Anwin here. I am curious to see what their tank pick will be, unless they will run that main tank Uther, which I'm not too big a fan of. Oh, it's going to be May! Yay!
And
My
Rega.
favorite.
Of course it's Rhaegar. Of course it's Rhaegar. Great wave clear in general, as well as having that ancestral healing that you can just sort of pop on people if needs be. So we have the double support here. It's a question of one of these supports could potentially go on the off lane. I wouldn't advise using Uther off lane on Tomb of the Spider Queen, but
Rhaegar
It's-
can be okay.
Wait,
Right.
Rega offlane, what the heck?
I don't know what the crazy things that Cradadel has cooked up, but Bazzacade popping out the Mephisto, that is a dangerous DPS, as well as Lunara here to provide some vision. What do you think about this, Samu?
I love the Mephisto pickup. He's one of the best heroes into those double support combos. And having Ana with the nano boost behind it, it makes it even worse for Love of Goose. I think Mephisto is like one of the heroes you usually want to ban if you run those double support, triple bruiser combs. And it's just a great pickup for InVain. And Love 5 Goose were interacting with the Chen as the last pick.
I just realized I cut off pets talking about May. Do you want to have a big old May chat, pets?
I do like it on Tomb a lot, because her spells with the Blizzard, it's very good at cutting off those turning points in those corridors. So definitely a favorite on this map. But I am surprised to see the Chen. I thought they would go for a bit more wave clear, but I think he still can hold the offlane pretty well. But yeah, looks like a fun match coming up. Do like InVain's draft, a lot of damage, a lot of poke.
Yeah, I think, Goose Warning have got what they wanted pretty much here in this draft, but so have InVain. I think a lot of people in the chat are suggesting that the InVain draft is a little bit better. We'll have to wait and see. I will try and get those predictions running. Sorry, I never clicked go. So you got, 5 minutes to go and get predicting.
So we're adding into
generous.
game number 2.
Yep. And starting off with the side of InVain, they're going to be playing with Venom on the Lunara, got the Bazarkane on the Mephisto, Jolly Slate playing Anna, Snatcher on Anubarak, and Grim playing Hogger.
Yep, and on the other side, on the red team, it is the level 5 Goose Warning. Whoop, whoop! We have Fizzy for 30k on the Valor. We've got Eri on May. We've got Cradledale on that Chen. We've got Martin on the Rhaegar. And Lucas Dukas is playing the Uther.
That's right.
Yeah, just to let you know, I had some Dutch coaching. It is pronounced Martin or something like that. It's definitely wrong still, but it's close.
It's a thought that accounts they tried.
Martin will watch this back and cringe at my pronunciation. Big Sleep coming out here from
Wow,
Golden Side. Can they follow up? I don't think this Snitch has got any CC left over, but they're trying to do some damage, and it's popping off so far here for the blue team, but the red team still ahead in that rotation.
Oh, good job by the Eri, cutting off the rotation. Need to be a bit careful. I think she still has her slide to get away here. Good job. And teams are going to back up. We're just going to rotate back onto that mid lane. Usually in the early, we just see them clearing out the waves, getting their gems, and then picking up the camps until the first turn in. But, oh, there's a lot of CC coming out onto May. She will be able to slide away once more. Meanwhile,
yes, they're still soaking away, but we have Fizzy starting this Bruiser Camp. Now, this is sort of an early Bruiser Camp, maybe looking to try and get a bit of damage. I don't think this is a distraction Bruiser Camp. It seems a bit too early for that. But ultimately, on the enemy team, they've got Hogger to do the Bruiser Camp, and he will just rip straight through it.
Yep. So, we do have Hogger getting on that with Anna helping out. You see teams. Oh, that's a really nice wisp positioning there, all the way on the side of the Geese, so you can see the rotations.
Yeah, so with this double support, they're still trying their best to sort of keep that rotation up, but we see now the red team pushing hard into this mid lane. Bazarkane trying to clear it out well, but ultimately, I think actually that little poke there meant that the red team couldn't step up as much as they'd like.
Yeah, Lunara was kind of bullying the May up top a bit as well during that push. And like this, we got Shen turning in with his 12. And we'll get interrupted. So, red team with a bit of gems in the bank. Meanwhile, looking at the mid, it's going to be InVain's turn to try to push that wall a bit with their camp. And getting a good amount of damage done.
Yeah, and they definitely have a imposing presence here to push in. Obviously, they're losing out a bit of soak on the top lane, but they're trying to put the CC onto Snitcher. Snitcher is falling lower and lower and does get taken out here. Ultimately, the Valor damage too much for this Anubarak shield.
He has about 14 gems as well, so that was quite a bit of a loss on the side of InVain. Just wasn't able to get the tank out of that.
Yeah, puts them well behind in this gem race, as the red team now have enough gems to turn in, and ultimately it's looking to be good for them, as Cradledale has been bullying Grim in the bot lane instead on this Chen.
Yeah, we do see a half level lead. They're going to be reaching their 7th soon. They are able to turn at the same time. Yep, they do get their beavers up. It's going to be a pretty big push, I think, from the level 5 Goose Warning.
Yeah, Venom here in the top lane having a little bit of a trouble.
Yeah, horses are back, and will be late for the clear to get back into his lane. And there's the level 7s coming out. Nothing too out of the ordinary.
No, nothing too out of the ordinary. Obviously, this cleanse is going to be helping out a little bit with that CC that we've been seeing a lot from the enemy team. Of course, Rhaegar does also have the purge, but having, an additional hand of protection really will help out. So right now, they're just trying to push in this top lane. Obviously, this is the boss lane. They're getting a little bit of damage done, but it's not a great deal. The blue team doing a good job in defending for now. We'll have to wait and see what the additional damage could be, as there's still the objective in the mid lane they have to worry about. The red team do not show signs of leaving this top lane.
Yeah, Memphis will have to be rotated to the mid, otherwise the left it would be way too much damage onto their mid fort. Meanwhile, these seeing that they are engaging hard, it's going to be Nubarak falling up in the top.
Yeah, really nice TC play here from the Reds, putting that pressure onto a Nubarak and making sure that Blizzard is underneath. But there's a lot of damage coming out here. Mephisto has arrived, and they don't have the healing available. Lucas is falling lower and lower. He does have a little bit of a frisbee here to keep himself alive, but Lunara is the one that goes down instead. Oh, this double support is just so much when you can't quite get the grenades at the timing you need it.
Yeah, it looked like it was also almost 2 kills going over to InVain there with both the Mei and Valor dropping low, I think. But yeah, good turnaround by them. Was able to actually grab that kill onto Lunara and gonna bring them even closer to the level 10s, their ultimates, which is a bit problematic. But InVain does have a turn-in available if they are able to get those gems in. They're able to get 45 there. So only 5 missing. Should have it soon.
Yeah, so they can try and put a little pressure. Level 10 is around the corner, though. And what Red Team need to be doing is keeping an eye on these turn-ins. We see that Jolly the Psych is looking to get a turn. And Lucas was potentially going to look at it, but no, didn't go for it instead. They are going to perhaps let this one slide. They'll have the level 10 to help defend, as well as the Bruiser camp. Is this sort of...
I think Lucas saw that. I think it might be deliberate. They have the level 10s. Now they'll have a free turn-in. Figured that now is a better time than if they wait too long and Vayne gets their level 10s. It should be a decent clear up in the top.
Yeah, we do have Divine Shield as well as Ancestral Healing here. So some big save tools. Of course, there is the anti-heal grenade on the side of Anna. So we'll have to see what goes on here. But I have faith in Martin to Martin to be able to do this.
Yes. And looking up the top,
it's a lot of damage coming out. But Bazake did commit their heroic as well on top of it, not realizing that the Cocoon was coming out. So now here we see going in. Yeah, so Cocoon now used for safety, but now the blue team is still putting on some aggression here in the top.
Yeah, they do have the level 10s, and a bit low on the side of red team, but I think they have stabilized. Do have enough ults. And yeah, that's basically a free turn. Some of the walls were opened up in all the lanes actually, but all in all, didn't get too much damage onto the forts themselves.
No, we do have Keg, by the way. No, many people wondering about this, and you don't have to wonder no more because it is the wandering Keg.
I appreciate your bad jokes.
Thank you so much. So with this, Eri's trying to get the turn in here, and they'll be just putting pressure on elsewhere in the map, consistently applying everything. Little by little, the damage goes onto these external forts.
So good job by Rhaegar was able to get... Oh, that was a pretty early Divine Shield.
It was, but it's saved certainly from the Endurance of Hate, and now the red team are looking to turn and engage, but they seem to be a little bit all over the place. Bazakade is certainly falling lower, but so is Eri. Eri gets the Ancestral. It's going to be a 1-for-0 here for the side of level 5 Goose Warning, and they get the Web Weavers summoned.
Yeah, really great tag there. He's able to split Mephisto completely away from his team. And still chasing on Lunara. Lunara might be in trouble. Yep. Anna just wasn't able to get enough healing on her. And it's going to be 2 going down very early in this Weaver push. And both damage dealers, so quite problematic. I think that mid fort is definitely falling. So is the top. Looks like Hogger is getting a handle on clearing the bottom. See if the team pushes any more with this.
Yeah, should be a 2-4 play here for certain, but we're going to see a collapse here as level 13 picks up here for the red team. They're looking to try and find something onto Bazakade. The air is being focused by the fort. She has to be careful. A lot of damage coming out here from the blues. Anna goes down instead, though, as the red team are still putting up a big fight. The fort goes down. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but can they find anything more here? As Lunara's not here, this is a 3 versus 4, and they still have a whole support.
And they also have a 13. Yeah. It's also a talent down, but coming out of that, it was a trade. They do lose 2 forts. I think they still have a chance to stabilize here.
Yeah,
they didn't lose too much gems in that process, so.
And they'll have enough gems soon enough, especially as we get later and later into the stages. Especially level 20 can be an absolute dominating factor for Mephisto. If you have that Mimic, maybe even the Silence on top of your Durance of Hate, there are some incredible level 20 options here for the side of the blue team. So we should absolutely not expect them to be down or out just yet.
Oh, there's the keg onto Hogger.
Okay, onto Hogger, stopping him from spinning away. He has to take some time, and actually the red team are just waiting for him to get away. Oh no, Grimace! He's healing himself up, absolutely, and Johnny the Side was doing a grand job until they were locked inside of the ice wall. Now they're turning onto Johnny the Side. They go down as well. Gems picked up by Snatch, though.
Yeah, that was a really good coordination there from the side of the Geese, able to lock down Anna when she was trying to bail out the Hogger. Almost got away. It was very narrow, narrow kill.
Yeah, it certainly is. And with level 16 around the corner for the blue team, it's a little bit okay. It's quite a far corner, Pets. I'll say, but no, it should come level 16. Anna has those tools that really helps with situations like this. Active reload just means that you can get a bunch more healing out really quickly, and Hogger could have perhaps survived if this was post 16. I know that's a big if, but you know, I'm saying it.
Yeah, and I want to point out, like in terms of damage numbers, it is pretty close with Vala and Nara, both at 31k hero damage. I think the kills come down just to the coordination of the teams. We see how they use their ults. It's very coordinated and calculated, I would say. Yeah. They were very on top of knowing who to focus, and especially with the keg. I think they killed every keg target so far.
Yeah, it can be a really easy thing if you've got such a dominating way to say, look, we're focusing this target, which, although the blue team, they have Sleep and they have a Nubrax engage, it can be a little bit tricky if they don't have the right Cocoon. And they're using Cocoon a lot defensively, as we see here, onto the Chen. Now they can try and turn it, maybe go onto Mei again. They're putting the damage out. Hogger's in the backline right now, so they're looking to try and get onto Eri. Ancestral has been used, but Divine Shield is still available if they're in trouble. Lucas is actually going to be the slowest one, but the red team are able to walk away from this engage for now.
Yeah, we do see 45 gens on the Chen. Don't think they want to lose that. There's the keg coming out once more, locking down the Nubrak. Nubrak will be falling here, and time for the rest of the team to try to run. They still don't have their 16s.
Why do you bully so hard, guys? Why do you bully so hard? This keg just pushing them away. It just feels horrible when you're like mashing your button saying, I should be able to burrow charge or something like that, but I can't because I've got these permanent mini stuns.
But I did think you bring out one point earlier with the Cocoon, because Cocoon does do somewhat of a similar role as the keg. It's just that they've had to use it defensively so many times during these fights that they couldn't really get much value out of the Cocoon.
Yeah, and Cocoon also obviously is really good for getting an isolated kill when sort of someone's a bit out of position, but the red team, Goose One, and they're playing tight. They're playing together as well, which means that quite often, you know, if someone would be cocooned aggressively, the rest of the team is going to be available to help them. And, you know, with the support tools that both Lucas and Martin have, it's very good. Here we see Cocoon. This time it was used a little bit aggressively, but at the same time, Ice Wall came out to defend. Vazicate, unfortunately, does not connect with the Durance of Hate. They're now in danger. They're looking to focus in on him. The ping was on him. Vazicate has to port away a little bit, but they are going to go down. Not without Hogger going down as well. A quick 2-for-0 here. And the red team are looking at this top keep.
I think they might even look for core if they can get another kill here. That looks like very, very low. Just couldn't quite dive.
But I said that the blue team were going to get level 16 pets. They've got to get level 16. Surely.
Surely get it with that. Right?
Surely? Yes, there we go. Level 16 is here. This is where the blue team can turn it if they can defend this. But there's a very healthy boss right now. It could be looking at game number 2 here of the series, going over to level 5 Goose Warning as the shields fall, as the rest of the red team are focusing it. The boss is still healthy. There's a web weaver behind. The keg is keeping them in the Hall of Storms. GG, well played, as game number 2 goes over to level 5 Goose Warning.
Indeed, game number 2. GG, well done by level 5 Goose Horn. Just again going with the double support combo. Please just ban Vala next game. Is it too much?
Yeah, I would say that Vala is quite a threat.
we're going to get some Valor bans, we're going to get some crazy other bans, and then they're just going to do a Medivh comp. We know that's going to happen. We absolutely know that's going to happen, and it's going to be a massive pain here for InVain. That's always the thing. When there is that Medivh player like Fizz, I used to hate scrimming against Fizz simply because of the Medivh, and you have to think about it. But ultimately, it's there. It is a part of the game, and yeah, something that InVain will have to do. We have a lot of people in the chat sort of saying that, you know, they're doing really well, popping off today, level 5 Goose warning. So it's absolutely, you know, InVain need to step up. They're having these good drafts that everyone in the chat is behind, but unfortunately not quite executing to them to the point where they can win a game here yet. But it's not over. This is a best of 5, isn't it, Samu?
Indeed, it is a best of 5, so we're going to see at least one more map if Goose Warning wins it, or we're just gonna see a reverse sweep if InVain manages to turn the ship around and go for it. But for now, we do see InVain going for first pick again. So level 5 Goose Warning again having to choose the map they want to go for. It's gonna be nothing else as Garden of Terror.
Garden of Terror. I think you're having nightmares about Garden of Terror now, aren't you, Pets?
Bit of a flashback to the 35-minute game on Garden yesterday. Yep. But
Yeah.
I think it could be okay. We haven't seen too much of the macro play from the side of InVain. Perhaps it could be stronger. I think with the last 2 games that we've seen so far, it's been a lot more focused on those team fights. And I think so far, level 5 Goose Warning is going to come out on top with that. They're a bit more coordinated, knowing when to focus the targets, how to use their ults, both to go for an engage and both to how to like save their Vala. Because we did see the Vala Uther playing very well together. So.
Yeah, I'm quite shocked to see Garden of Terror being picked up, really. You know, compared to the last 2 maps, which are quite heavy in that sort of team fight thing situation, Garden of Terror can be a little bit more of a macro map if you play it that way. I would have expected to see Infernal Shrines being picked up here. I think that would have been like if you wanted to keep playing the same way, Infernal Shrines would have been very much that. But perhaps, you know, they've got these garden strats. Let's take them away. And obviously the Falstad can come out to play a little bit on Garden of Terror if they don't just go for the Valor again. Maybe they're expecting the Valor ban. Is that what they're expecting, Pets? You tell me.
I think they would, and I think Vala still should be one of the bans, along with Medivh. Although we do know that the Geese like playing Falstad a lot, which is really strong in a macro map like Garden of Terror. So that could open up that pick for them. Otherwise, yeah.
Mantis here in the chat saying, reverse sweep now, let's go. Mantis, of course, is a player on InVain, is hoping to get their hands on one of those Heroes Lounge medals, but unfortunately, they're going to have to do that reverse sweep, as Mantis has just said. Of course, maybe you're thinking about signing up. It's Season 18. Sign-ups are currently open, and you can do that by doing !sign up in the chat. There's a little link. Sign yourself up. Get yourself some friends, maybe, in our Discord. Get yourself together in a team, find yourself signed up for Season 18. It could be you here, either casting perhaps next season or in the grand finals, playing for a medal in, of course, any division. Our divisions are, cover so much ground. We have Grandmasters and we have all the way down to bronze players. So if you really want to play, this is a great place to play. Make some new friends and just generally get involved in Heroes of the Storm. But I'm talking so much, Samu. I'm sorry. It's Garden of Terror time now.
Indeed it is. Garden of Terror. Here we go again. We did see it in the first series of today. We saw some nice cheeky Medivh coming out from Limo for Rage Quit Gaming. So it's going to be interesting if we again see something along those lines. Maybe this time from Goose Warning again in the reds. But maybe this time successful or not. Let's see. So we're going to start off with a ban from InVain. What do you think will come out here, Pets?
Well, before I say that, it's going to be the Medivh first. I was going to say either the Medivh or Vala, but we do see that Medivh coming in. And Sylvanas, once again, banned out first from the Geese. Although, okay, so they're going to go with the Uther ban. I think that's clever, because it kind of, it's like a pseudo Vala ban, in a way. So, I like that one. but we do still have Anubarak open, Blaze, Anduin, a lot of strong heroes, as well as Johanna. We'll be curious to see what the first pick will be from the side of InVain. Do you have any predictions?
Blaze is the ban from Goose Warning. Expected to have very high priority, but also it's a big map, so we might see some globals coming in. Maybe my boy Dehaka might make an appearance here or there. But before that, we have InVain with the first pick, and I kind of would expect to see Anubarak being high priority again, but no. Going to be Johanna.
Yeah, Johanna picked up, so I'm expecting to see Hogger perhaps. As Blaze has been banned out, Hogger seems like a reasonable thing for level 5 Goose Warning to perhaps go for here. Dehaka, of course, is an option as well, but we're going to see that Falstad picked up along with Dehaka. I mean, there we go. Global time.
Yeah. And if they do want a global, we still have Brightwing available. I think that is reasonable. Yeah, I'm not sure what InVain will be playing for if they want a comp similar to what they have been playing.
It's going to be Sonya and Hanzo, so yeah, a little bit similar. It's going to be that leap value. I would have thought perhaps they might have wanted to pick up Anduin in this rotation, but I think it's going to be banned out now, or picked themselves on the side of level 5 Goose Warning.
Yeah, I was leaning more towards the Brightwing healer pick just to counter a bit of that double global pressure. I think it would be a bit difficult to manage through lanes. And we do see the value of both having double global. You know, it could be 1v1, all of a sudden it'd be a 3v1.
I think Brightwing on this map can be quite a hard global to use, though. The only problem being, of course, is that she does do well in a sort of global sense, but trying to clear those camps can be really time-consuming as a Brightwing. And I think, you know, having the Sonya to be able to clear camps, do camps, and yeah, generally give a bit of push could be good here. But yeah, with all these healers banned out now, is this Brightwing pick here for level 5 Goose Warning?
I feel like Stukov might be a better pick over Brightwing. They do have double globals. I'm not sure if they're going to go with the triple global. Would be entertaining.
It would. We are going to have Hogger and Anubrak. The support pick is going to be the dramatic reveal at the end.
Does it mean to have Hogger 4-man to do the chems with Falstad? It's quite interesting because usually you see Hogger and Falstad rather being picked up in the flex spot rather than the ranged assassin spot, but this seems to be Falstad solo range DPS for level 5 Goose Warning.
I think Hogger would just be doing camps on cooldown whenever there's one available. He's probably the best at taking the camps in this comp. But it's going to be Deckard, okay, for the side of InVain.
Not just Deckard, but Tychus as well. I think Venom has played this Tychus to great success in the past. And it's interesting to see maybe how these guys are going to do with that overall. You know, they've played Tychus 7 times in the whole of the season. And of course, you know, having a 57% win rate, it's not perfect, of course, but having a decent number of games. We see Lucio being picked up here right at the end. No Stukov. It's going to be some high five action, I expect. Maybe? Question mark? Sammy?
I would assume so, yeah. Because you will have the leap, probably Bless Shield, and the Deckard has a lot of CC as well. So
Pudgenovs is going to feel really, really good about himself very, very soon as Lucio gets picked up just after they said it in the chat. So, very good stuff here. Garden of Terror, which side does it for you, Samu?
Ooh, it's really rough, but I think both drafts do seem pretty good. But the draft of 5 Goose Warning has my 2 main heroes in, so I've got to go for the draft 5 Goose Warning this game.
And Pets, what about you?
I kind of prefer level 5 Goose Warning as well, just because of the double globals. But guess we'll see. Heading into game number 3.
Yep, and here we are on the blue team. This time we have InVain with Grim48 on that, Hanzo Venom on the Tychus, Snatch on the Johanna, Bazzacade on the Sonya, and Jolly the Psych leading up on the Decacane.
Meanwhile, for the red side, playing for level 5 Goose Warning, we've got Lucas on Tahaka, Credadel playing Hager, Lucio played by Martin, and Fizz on Falstad, and running out it will be Eerie playing Nubar. Alright. So both teams heading to the mid.
Yeah, we see Martin is cosplaying Hogger right now, bouncing between the lanes or the walls.
Oh, we got redemption on Hanzo. That's interesting. I didn't expect that. Or I thought it'd be the W arrow, scatter arrow.
Yeah, it could well have been. I know that a lot of people also play Q on this map just because it helps with a little bit more of the wave clear at 4, but it's not too much of an issue. I suppose got to hit people, haven't you? Got to hit people. But there's a big engage down at the bottom. Sorry, this 30k is falling lower and lower.
7 HP. Oh, that was so close. Oh! The Sonic arrow.
Snipe! What a snipe! And I've just woken up everybody in the neighborhood. What a snipe!
Let's get a shot of Grim there. Even a respect by Fizz saying nice arrow. But yeah, I really thought he was gonna get away with just barely any HP.
But that is the first time that InVain have led in kills, and they put punishment onto area as well. So suddenly InVain have woken up and are looking good coming out here already in Garden of Terror.
Also just noticed that Fizz went for the freaking flyer. So a tech build for Falstad. Usually see the Q. So I'm curious to see how you will do with the stacks in this game.
Yeah, so with a bit of a rotation around. Frequent Flyer is definitely sort of a more comfortable pick, I'd say, when you're sort of playing an off-laney sort of style and not expecting big team fights. But yeah, being the sort of solo DPS in this sense, they are the solo assassin. I can get away with saying that. That's Hot's dedicated terms. It's going to be tricky, especially with the blinds available for Johanna.
Yeah, seeing as they had both Hunger and the Hawkeye, I thought the Falstad would be playing more within the 4-man, trying to get those Q stacks. I'll be see if those damage numbers will match up.
I mean, Fizzev is not known for the damage he does on Falstad, but more the big gusts that come out towards the end of the game. So we'll see what happens there. As we have our first available thing, and Dahaka goes down in the top lane to Bazarcade and the Siege Giants.
Yeah, so InVain looking pretty solid here in the early. Got a decent push, both in the top and bottoms.
Yeah, level 5 Goose One are going to need to give themselves a bit of a, slap, just a bit of a wake-up slap, just saying, come on guys, it's not over yet. We have not won just yet.
Yeah. Yeah, with these best of 5s, you can't get too comfortable with your leads. You always have to stay alert, don't underestimate your enemy. And
yeah,
it's pretty good zoning by InVain, even though it's in the enemy side of the map.
Yeah, Tung tries to come out here from Lucas on the Dahaka. Not quite landing this time. So the Soak is in the lead here. Level 7's already for the blue team, but they give away this first seed to the Reds.
Yeah, they had to retreat a bit to clear up the camp. And I think they did a decent job with the stalling. On the map. Next camp.
You know what it is, pets. You know what this is. This is double support fever. It's a lesser known element that people haven't think. It's where you play 2 games with double support, so you forget that you're not invulnerable going into a game where you only have a single support, and that single support being Lucio. So you suddenly remember that, oh wait, I don't have 25 armor almost consistently, and I don't have backup healing after that. So maybe that this is the weakness that level 5 Goose Warning need after this aggressive draft coming out here from the blue team.
Yep. And we do see that second object coming. They're back with the dive in, but the damage exchange. Nuva dropping very low, will be falling in this fight. Nice tongue onto Bazarcade, but will be trading out. Sonya does end up dying into the towers. Yeah.
and it's a twofer, a good old 2-for-1 here. But the damage is still so heavily on the side of the blue team. They are finding, just the putting out the damage, putting a fear of life onto the red team, and that's gonna really struggle for them. But as the later games changes, we see these Hogger engages going on to Jolly the Site, trying to find some sort of balance. Lucas able to burrow in, trying to peel away from Merton, but Merton is falling low. The damage is onto Venom. Venom is falling low, but a guy's grenade keeps him alive. Lucas goes down, and it's going to be a little bit of a turn here for the blue team. Eric did burrow in, but Grim 48 is still healthy. They're healthy enough to keep fighting. They'll try and find the kill, but ultimately, they've been ganked here by Bazzacade. It's been collapsed, and that's the 6th kill in the game here for InVain.
It was a good attempt by Goose wanting to try to get that objective. Did see that Johanna was pretty low at the start of the fight, so I guess they figured that might have an advantage, especially with the Dahaka burring in. But it was a good turnaround by InVain. Really a good job by Jolly the Psych Decker keeping his team healed up all throughout that engage. But level 10s now reached pretty early for InVain. And he's full level, half level behind.
And pets. We finally get what we've been asking for, so that we don't keep mispronouncing it. It's Dragon's Arrow. It's Dragon's Arrow. And no leap as well. This time it is that Wrath of the Berserker. Unusual with slam builds. Often you do sort of get the leap into sort of a prepped big slam, and that is sort of a lot of damage. And if you can get onto Falstad, great stuff. But I think the idea here is that you're slamming just onto those tanks non-stop. And I say tanks, I just mean the beefy front line that level 5 Goose Warning have.
Yeah, I think it is the case that there is more of like triple melee, so don't really need leap in the situation. You really only be targeting either Lucio or Falstad, especially in this game. I think Wrath can get more value. And next objective popping up.
We did have Wrath already popped here in the top, and as Bazzacade tries to sort of clear this wave and do a little bit of extra damage. Obviously it's ticking down as time goes by, so it's sort of one of those useful heroics that can sort of land for a long time, which is quite nice. But blue team easily zoning out here the second objective. We've yet to have a web weaver phase? A plant terror phase in the game here, and often that can be a swing point in these matches.
Curse of the Garden Weavers is what I always call them out.
Yeah. Oh, a little bit of an engage here onto Grim 48. They have to be careful here as the damage comes out. The Blessed Shield only connects the area. Those beetles tanking the rest of the bounces. But ultimately, the engage not quite enough. And the re-engage also not landing quite how InVain wanted.
Yeah, it is only 3 for the side of the keys here. Oh, we do have Udin being popped for the siege. Looks like they do want to try to push into this camp. Like the, really?
Oh, a nice stun here. Interrupting the stairwell, and listen, the sound barrier comes out, surviving. Gus not even having to be popped here after they were put into a Gus position. Instead, though, Falstad falling too low to be able to be part of this team fight. A nice kill here before level 13 and before the next objective. This could mean that we go to the final match point objective here.
Sure. Gonna make a bit of a run for it here. Yeah, presumably be okay. I like the stun by Eerie just to interrupt the stay a while and listen.
Yeah, Bazzacade in a little bit of trouble here on the top lane, putting the damage onto Fazim, but ultimately not enough as there was 2 versus 1. You push too hard and you get too close to the fort and you're going to get burned. So now, as I say, this objective goes over to the red team handedly. Blue team not quite sure what to do with the time that they have to wander around the map.
We do see in this third game that it is a lot closer in terms of the macro. InVain matching pretty well, I'd say, even coming out a bit ahead on top.
Out comes the stairwell, and listen, goes on to 2 people, but Johanna goes down already. The Gus comes out as well. A little bit, hastily perhaps, as red team were handedly winning that. But we're seeing the turn come now here, Pets, aren't we?
Yeah. And it's going to be interesting. Tribute? The seed. There we go.
Certainly
So
is.
this will be a cursed seed.
Eri is finding herself in the position that I have in previous Garden of Terrors, where I've been main tank canoe, but just ended up soaking and ended up just pushing top lane. I don't know how it happens, but you're like, someone needs to come top and soak this, and no one else bothers. So you just end up doing it as an Anuba rank. It's not the best use of time, but someone has to do it.
To get the fort was not in vain.
Yeah, but they have to be careful here. Oh, Bascade stops channeling to try and get the engage onto Metin, but Metin is able to dodge out and about. Now Lucas is in the back, but there is still the Wrath of the Berserker. They have to be careful here. Odin being popped though, with Viziv putting the damage on. The stun goes onto Viziv. He goes down. That's their main assassin damage coming out here as Cradledell is just avoiding that route here. A little bit of extra speed helps them get away. It looks like that first objective is going over to InVain.
Now, Azahaka barely was able to get out of the fight alive. It was a really split fight on both sides. One going south and the other one going up to the mid.
Harry has to be careful. Is going to go down the sound barrier, not quite landing. Trying to find an engage where there just wasn't the opportunity means that the blue team are going to be pushing hard with these terrors.
Yeah, we will see that fort dropping pretty quickly. Mid one looks like it might be defended. They are trying to clear that before they lose the fort. Meanwhile, in the bot, we see InVain pushing on to the keep. And that wall is falling pretty quickly. It is only Falstad and Lucio down here for the defense. And
yeah, Dragon's Arrow lands. Oh, Blessed Shield was put out, but not quite in time.
yeah, we did have the gust to try to push the enemy away, and they are going to be able to save that keep.
So right now, a rotation coming in here to the mid lane. They get that mid fort.
Maka up on the top. Oh, does end up dying to the Sonya with a Wrath. Even turning on to this.
This is so often what happens with the first objective, but as we see here, Eri is stuck in a little bit of trouble, trying to peel for Fizz. Fizz is pulling lower and lower, but a good bit of stunnage here keeps Fizz out of harm's way. Yeah, this is so often what happens on Garden of Terror. You get the first objective, you get 3 forts. It really helps you with that map control. But ultimately, the red team, they're still not doing too well, trying to find something. They are bleeding in kills once again.
Yeah, and we do have Odin. Will be expiring here soon. Looks like team are disengaging. And moving on to the camps.
So as we go back to our wonderful faces here, a little bit of a disconnect. Maybe something's going on in the Masters Clash, and that's why Fizz has thoughts. We never quite know. Sammy, how are you feeling about this game so far?
It's a very mixed feeling so far. I feel like Goose Warning is exactly what we thought they will do. They're controlling the map with the double global and the Hagar, but they're just not really able to find the fights in their favor. So far, every fight was pretty much won by InVain, and this gave them the first objective phase and gives them a lot of pressure on the map by taking on all 3 tier 1 structures with those Garden Terrors.
Yeah, of course, though, 2 out of 3 still on the side of level 5 Goose Warning means that they could potentially swing back hard with the next objective as well.
Indeed, the only thing is though that the waves are pushed out in favor for InVain pretty much right now, and therefore it is pretty rough for a Goose Warning to really get a weapon wave in, get a Garden Terror wave in, and then pressure in and run in with that.
Yep.
So, as we get back into the series though, as we get right back into the action, let's see how the red team are going to deal with this lead from the blues.
You have to remember that they are have 2 seats. So for the next objective, if they can win that, they could try to push back the waves. Could probably get a couple more forts for themselves. I think they should get a good opportunity since the team of InVain won't have the 20s in time.
No, they won't quite. Of course, with the objective being popped, the waves all got pushed out really far, and so the red team are using that to soak it up, and that's why it's sort of quite even on XP at the moment. I am interested to see what happens though here and these later stages of the game. You know, Hanzo is very good at later stages, especially with this flawless technique. This is my favorite ARAM build. I don't play Hanzo outside of ARAM, so it's my only build. But you know, picking some big bursts. Although I usually go Q on level 1 with it, just to make those Qs hit like an absolute truck. But anyway, before I go off on one, yeah, level 16s are here. Giant Slammer is here. These are some really good talents for the blue side. And people were back in the blue team draft. So with this, they've woken up. InVain, they said they've got places to be, but it looks like they want to make this a 5-game series in this game.
Yeah, it does look like Goose Warnings are just focusing on deep pushing their lanes, not trying to contest that objective seed, since it was not in a favorable position for them.
No, and of course, they don't have to worry about it, pets. It's 1 out of 3. 1 out of 3. What harm is 1 out of 3? 1 out of 3, nothing, no harm. 2 out of 3, it's looking risky. 3 out of 3, big alarms.
Yeah.
Yeah, as we see, red team are just trying to sort of maybe get a little bit of XP back from some of these structures. It's not a lot of XP, but it's still the thought. But as they push down in the bottom, blue team decisively pushing in this top one. Pop the Odin as well, have the Sonya with the Wrath. This is a lot of damage here, and it's going to be tough. Lucas has buried in the back. Looks like Snatch is checking the wrong bush, and Luca is sort of still not really sure what he wants to do here. Hogger spins in, does have the slam, slams onto the Odin. They're trying to go for the Tychus, but they're split with their damage right now. It looks like the stairwell comes out, sleeps onto Eri. They get the Tychus down. Can the red team find another kill in this fight, pets?
Hanzo in a bit of trouble, won't have his leap, and it's going to be another 2 kills going. It was a great job of the Geese.
Really good job here, defending their keep as well, and they're looking to get something onto the Johanna. No escape, no falling sword, Iron Skin pop, but the body blocks are too much. Johanna's
That's
gone.
a bit of a stagger. I think that was very unfortunate with Johanna falling there as well.
And
so
you know
now
what?
it's only Deckard basically against this whole garden terror phase.
Sorry, I've poisoned you now. I've poisoned your mind with these being web weavers. Yes, garden terrors pushing down, putting their overgrowth plants in the middle. We're just going to use all of the names.
That's going to be both mid and bottom falling pretty handily. And poor Deckard is kind of just waiting for his team to respawn. Can't really do much against this wave.
You just pop Ruby and hope that that's good enough wave clear. Which is exactly what Jolly has done here. But this is the turning section. Level 20s are here. We have Bossa Nova, we have the Power Strike, we have the Wind Tunnel as well. Loads of things upgraded, and of course then the formidable rewind of a noob rank. Can level 5 Goose Warning try and get this game into a position that they can close it out and take the series, the championship, and the season? They really want it, but they can't quite find anything right now. They're playing passive because they know they've got the forts, and now they just have to play patiently as level 20 is here, available. Ooh, I really wanted blue team to try and pull the trigger there, but they don't want to do it. Not 4v5.
Yeah, didn't have vision of the Geese. Probably afraid of a turnaround just like that. And Hanzo going down. We have a new Brack in the cocoon as well. It's looking very, very dangerous for InVain. And it's like it might be Tychus falling. Does
Could
pop
be, but
Odin?
stay a while is huge, keeping people alive. The old man stories silencing as well, keeping everyone away from closing the gap. Johnny the Tychus falling low and low. It does go down. Odin is able to be surviving with the big red button. It's going to help with his defense as well, pets.
Yeah, it was very close. It is 2 down for quite a long time, but on the side of the Geese, they are very low. Lucio trying his best to heal everyone back up. Do have Basket coming in with the Wrath. So they are trying to turn around.
Bossa Nova, they're able to come maybe back in. There it is, popped once again, trying to find that kill onto Bazzacade in that quick time, but Ignore Pain being used here to keep them alive.
And Hanzo will be respawning soon, so they will need to regroup a bit, probably pick up this camp and head over to the next objective.
So despite those decisive kills here from level 5 Goose Warning, they weren't able to get a kill.
Yeah.
It was an incredible kill on the Hanzo, by the way. Just instantly, Hanzo pops around the corner, unsuspectingly, there is a bush there. And Hogger in the bush just pops down a little bit of a scrap heap. Insta stun. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Dead Hanzo. He needs more protection. And what can I say?
Okay.
We're back on this again.
But oh no.
But yeah, level 5 Goose want to get in there 1 out of 3 here.
Yeah, I think
Meanwhile,
we wrap up their camps. Meanwhile, it looks like InVain will be picking up the one in the bottom.
and quite frankly, I like this. I like this. You know, if they can push bottom and get this bottom keep it at some point, maybe, or something else. They have a Odin. They have big red button. They have Rat Sonya. Getting any sort of damage is substantial damage on the enemy team.
Looks like they did just try to get that to take it away from the enemy team. They don't have to worry about it. I think they are a bit hesitant in pushing too far up.
Yeah. I mean, without Leap, they can't sort of get really instant pick-off engages. But, you know, a Dragon's Arrow out of nowhere does the same job. So maybe we're looking fine there. But it is a patient play here from both teams. Obviously, Blue team on their tournament lives, they're really not thinking about playing aggressively. And Red team just respecting that on the other side.
Yeah, we'll be curious to see this overall 20 versus 20 fight. Looks like both teams are contesting it this time. Do have the Haka and Fostad in the offlanes, but Haka with his burrow can join in pretty quick if they do decide to play this.
I know some hot streamers, you know, they have the heart rate monitor on their stream sometimes just to sort of get that tense going, and I think it must be so tense right now for the Jolly Decide popping that stairwell, and it does just catch on the Hogger down, but in the bottom there's a big engage onto the Odin. Odin goes down just from the damage of Falstad, and out comes the Mighty Gust pushing people away. Out comes the Bossa Nova trying to sustain the red team as they look to try and pick up a couple of kills. Can they get the kill onto Bazzacade? That armor won't help with this auto attack. Falstad build is just going to shred through it, getting that giant hunter, but no, Bazzacade spins to win, stays alive for just a bit longer. But is it enough to keep them in the game?
It was a great escalation there by Lucas hitting onto, I think it was both Sonya and Hanzo, and he couldn't quite get out of that fight at the time. But here is a dive in. Looks like they will be getting at this bottom keep. I'm not sure if they will have enough damage to push into the core, though. Tygus will be up another 20 seconds. And they recognize that. Is trying to pull back.
Yeah, so Tung tries to get out. Lucas might be in trouble here. He doesn't have a big escape available. He does have the burrow, has to use his essence as well. And it's a bit of deja vu. We're back down in this bottom left corner of the map. Seed spawning in 17 seconds. So is Sonya. Is Sonya the seed? Probably, not really. But Eri has to be careful as well. The Blessed Shield comes out. She doesn't have burrow available. She does have rewind if she really wants to use it, but out comes the stairwell, and Nissa just catching onto Lucio. Can Lucio be the target? But instead, there is no more CC follow-up. They can't do everything. Instead, we see the damage go onto Johanna. Instead, Lucas Dugas has burrowed in instead. I keep saying Grim 48 is going to be in danger. Bears looking to get the Gust. They get the Mighty Gust onto them. Grim is going to be stunned out so long, and the damage does come through. Decker goes down, Hanzo goes down, Sonya is surely to be next. Can't spin forever, unfortunately, with that build. It looks like the red team might be trying to take this series and championship.
Yeah, I think that's game here. It's going to be 5 versus Tychus. Tychus does still have Odin up for a bit, but don't think it will be quite enough to defend against this full team push.
40 seconds left on the blue team. The Reds are auto-attacking the core. They are probably celebrating in their comms. GG, well played. The red team did a fantastic job in all 3 games. Lucio goes down just at the end, but the damage is too much. Well played by Level 5 Goose Warning, our Division 2 Season 17 champions.
Indeed! 3-0 from Level 5 Goose Warning, coming in here looking really strong against InVain. What a series! Not expected to see the curveball coming in game number 3 with suddenly Novala for fifth and the team actually having to draft a normal comp or something normal comp, but Level 5 Goose Warning still manages to win the series. Well done.
Yeah, I think they did struggle a bit in that early game. We did see quite a lot of kills going over to InVain. I think it was right near level 16 where they hit like the late game. level 5 Goose Warning was kind of able to pull back, put more together, and get some of those clutch kills, really solidifying at the late game for them.
Yeah, obviously, it was a close last match, but InVain were certainly not quite prepared. Well, no, I'm sure they were prepared. They did a valiant job. They did absolutely superb, but Goose Warning just did a grand job all over. In those first 2 matches, it was a complete, real domination from them. Really well done, but InVain, valiant effort. They've come so far through the season, and being here at the grand finals, absolutely a stellar achievement. I hope to see them again next season, of course. Now, what is going on here with the rest of the bits and bobs? Looks like I might be taking on the role of the board job, Sammy.
It seems so.
So, we'll get the team in here for an interview at some point. Okay, I'll start pulling people in. I'll do that job as well.
Oh,
On it.
hello.
Hello and welcome to Level 5 Goose Warning. I'm here as the lounge representative from the board to say congratulations, really well done, well played, and you will be getting in the post your Season 17 Champions medals. I just have to say before we sort of pass over to Samu, myself, and Pets, that this couldn't be possible without all the players, of course, in the background. InVain, they did a fantastic job here in the grand final. Everyone else who's played in Division 2 and throughout the whole divisions, of course, this is our last grand final. Everyone else who's played, everyone else who's helped, all the moderators, all the casters, all the brand new casters, the new stream team as well, did a fantastic job. Samu, who is celebrating his 3 years anniversary with Heroes Lounge around about now, we think, who knows, has been doing a great job here as the manager, keeping us all together, getting these finals organized for 3 years, pretty much. He's done it, with a little bit of praise, but not enough praise. He should get a big round of applause, especially if you are in Twitch chat. Go for some claps. But yeah, really well done, of course, to you, Level 5 Goose One. And let me pass back to Samu, Transparent, and Pets.
Congratulations from the side. Yes, thank you, Transparent, for jumping in. We're now heading over. How did you guys come into this series against
Easy
InVain?
wins. We're 3-0 up. I'm 3-0 up against Bazzacade already, Samu. It's free, man. You rock up. I said I'd be here. If I lost, it would have been embarrassing.
On a more serious note, we were, of course, trying to figure out the best strategies, what would give us the best outcomes in the drafts, and then we would just, try and keep it cool and stay together and tell Eri not to int. That's usually what we do, and then...
I just played Vala Pew Pew and we won.
It turns out Uthring Valor still works at the end of the season as well as it did right at the beginning. It's good to know.
We have 2 save monkey buttons, and it worked.
Oh, we have so many save monkey buttons.
Yeah, talking about the save buttons, is that sort of what went wrong at the start of game number 3? Is you realized you didn't have your save monkey buttons.
Luca can only play one hero. Luca can only play one hero, and they banned it, and it was very unfortunate.
We had to give him a frontline that can self-heal, and then it worked out.
Even then.
Even then, he still tried to 1v1 a Sonya with W build. It's okay. We learned for 2 seasons later.
Yeah, obviously you've come a long way. This is a not the first time some of you have won, but certainly the first time you guys together have won. I think is it only Fizz that have won in the past?
I'm still here.
No, you won yesterday.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count. I think
He was a sub yesterday. It doesn't count.
It does
Yeah.
actually.
It doesn't
very
count.
much does.
So yeah, with that, how Eri, you are team captain. How does it feel to have led your team to victory this season?
Wow, well, it's a bit of a rush. It's still trying. I'm still settling into everything. I can't really believe it, to be honest. At the start, we were just thinking that we should have a fun season, not do too much. Just mainly just take a chill and see what happens. And then once the week started passing by, we were just like, oh, this is kind of fun. Let's keep it up, and maybe we can even try and take this whole thing home. Who knows? And then
I thought that was just the lie we told Fizz to get him to play with us.
yeah, it might be, but who knows?
He's not supposed to know.
I stopped believing it at one point.
Season's over now. It doesn't matter. We can be honest with him.
I mean, it worked.
Well, I'm just very proud of my geese and how far we've come together. And
have
I
to give
hope
a massive shout out to InVain though. They were definitely worthy opponents and beautifully played by them. I feel incredibly sorry for poor Bazzacade, who has had to watch me win twice, and God knows there's nothing more horrible than watching me win anything. You can tell even the casters are seething a little bit right now. Beautifully well played by them again. It was really another set of very difficult matches, even if this time my team gave me a much easier job.
and everyone else in the playoffs is also. I think all of the teams have had their chance of taking home this finals. But it happened to be us this time.
Nice. Well, I have a quick question. I think maybe some in the chat would wonder too. Is there a story behind your team name, Level 5 Goose Warning?
Credo, do you want to take that one?
Eri, go ahead.
Well, so basically, there's this thing with Danes, Denmark, and Goose, and
No, there's one specific Dane.
wait, what? Who?
Iruka.
Ah, yes, there we go. Yeah, and they had a past team called Honk Goose Criminals, and since 2 seasons ago, we had both Iruka on the team, and we had Sidonian, who used to play on that team, and we thought, hey, why not keep the Goose theme going? And then Credo was like, oh, hey, look at this funny Goose meme I found. And then it was literally the warning for them gooses. And here we are.
Ah, I see. Bit of a legacy name then. It's pretty cool. Thank you. Thanks,
Anytime.
Am I transparent? Sammy?
Well, I thought it was a fantastic job all around today. Going into that last draft, was it everything you ever wanted in that last draft, or was there a few sort of picks that weren't quite, your ideal picks on Garden of Terror?
Do we have ideal picks on Garden? We wanted Falstad.
The thing is,
Yeah.
we every few games we fixate on one comp. And we just play that the entire time. The first season was double support. Now at the end of the season, we love triple frontline and then one hyper carry, so to say. LOL Falstad hyper carry. And then we just fix it on that because it is pretty hard to kill, and we have decent wave clear, and we can fix the map. And we love macro. Whenever we played, we just loved pushing. We loved having that global pressure. So right now, basically, we did get almost everything we wanted. By just playing the map, playing macro, getting globals, and then just trying to look for side picks with the globals. So that's been basically our whole goal at the end of the season.
There's definitely some value as well to just rocking up with something a bit out of meta, and I think we've tried to play things that just aren't the Storm League standard, so people just expect have to play into something.
It's also support Valor.
Speaking of just rocking up, with your map pick, game number 1, if I could have placed any bet on any map that would have been picked by both teams, Battlefield of Eternity would have been at the bottom of the list.
Yes,
I know, right?
InVain have not played the map in the season, and you have a 0% win rate after playing it 3 times, only picking it once. Why BOE today?
It was them,
you know
wasn't
what?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was you.
Was it us?
No, we got first pick, so I'm assuming that they thought that since we'd already played it so much and, hadn't really found our footing on the map, they maybe...
I would have been
had the
very angry if
advantage.
we picked BOE.
Same.
Sorry.
I made a note.
My
I was starting to boil as we were like, did we really in that?
Well, let me say my question. You guys picked Garden of Terror for the third match. So whose idea is that?
Some logic there. The logic
Definitely.
was we wanted to be able to play double support Valor, so we wanted to force them to ban it, which means we can't go to Sky because it's a bit rough there, and we really can't go to whatever the fourth one was that I've now. Dragon.
Dragonshire.
It's really bad there. But if they banned it, we didn't want to play into Nano Mephisto again, which ruled out Shrines, and that left Garden where we could kind of play whatever we wanted, and they chose to ban it, so we got the Falstad draft that we wanted. Whether it looked as clean as we hoped, that's up for debate. But we went in with that plan. That was why Garden.
Somebody might have been distracted with MC. Who knows?
No,
Who knows? Who knows?
There was definitely not a good 5-minute window where the rest of the team were trying to macro call for the first time in that team setting.
What do you mean? It went great. I was tanked. I went top. I got a fort. That's what we do.
So
It's
annoying.
okay,
We pick 2 split pushes, and our tank goes and solos like.
I explained the
Unbelievable.
situation. Sometimes it just happens that someone has to soak, and it just ends up being a noob rack on the other end of the.
I think we
Thank
set
you,
her there.
Trump.
I think we call set off. I remember that call. We were
it's
like, she'll
happened
get
more
half
than
a
once.
wall or something, and then she took the whole fort, and we were like, nice.
It's happened more than once as well, where Ares is in a noob rack, and like we're just pushing something, or like we're just fighting, and Ares is getting a fort. I'm like, how did you get a fort as a noob rack? Like, what is this? What is going on? It's just okay, free fort, I guess. Might as well.
Yep. Yoink.
Well, I think that's all I have for questions. Samu?
No, I have none left. So, if there are any shoutouts left you guys want to do now, the stage is yours.
Well, definitely shout outs to Hands Up. It's always so much fun to have a season together with them, and you have some scrims, and you flame each other and whatnot. And
Shout out to
well,
them
maybe-
for almost warming us up and then not.
yeah, there's that too, but we don't talk about that.
What is the
And
team
what-
called that warmed us up, actually?
The flexible rubber seals and
Yes.
Page Biscuit. Thank you very much to them for coming along and warming us up.
Shout out to Celine for being our sis.
Shout out to Saloon
Yep.
for getting me all of the viewers as I put her name in the stream titles for Nexus Rumbles. Shout out, of course, to Stuxia and everyone else who hangs out in my Twitch chat when we play the games, and my old team who like to flame us when we play as well.
Shout out to Taco
Lounge.
for subbing in the other day.
Mhm.
Shout out to myself because I'm just such a good player.
Shout out to Fizz for
And
his
so-
amazing work in Masters Clash during our finals game. Shout out
Fizz for
to
being
all
humble.
of the lounge team, especially of course Transparent and Samu, who have this wouldn't be possible without them. God knows it's a lot of work. I've tried it before in the past. It's horrible. They're legends. Send them your love. Shout out to Pets too, because she did, I'm sure, an incredible job casting this.
And shout out to Jam, because she is an amazing mascot. Boom!
Shout out to Jam. She's the best idiot.
That's about it.
You heard it here first.
Isn't it? Oh, Morty. Morty's not here. Shout out to Morty.
Yeah.
Oh, every
Again,
time.
my
Morty
hero
is
doesn't
shy
turn
for the
out, and
camera,
again, we need
so
to
we're
shout
here.
this. I did this yesterday with.
It's okay. We all saw him amazingly healing us up, even though we're all messy and well. I feel bad for Morty. Thank you, Morty, for saving us this whole season.
And sometimes Luca with his Uther.
Occasionally
Exactly.
me,
Yeah.
but we don't need to thank that. I balance it with inting when I'm not healing. You know.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
And everybody else who's been cheering us on this season. Thank you all.
Did we say Fizz? I can't remember if we said Fizz.
We could just say it
He
again.
said himself.
Shout out
Say
to
it again.
Fizz.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
He's not important anyway, so it's fine.
And just because we can, or well, maybe just me, because I don't know about everybody else, I'm just gonna do a good old honk honk honk! You're welcome. That's all I got.
See you guys next season.
Bye bye.
All
Bye.
right. Thank you
Thanks
guys
for today.
joining us. Have a great evening, enjoying your victory. And with that,
Thank you.
season 17 is going to an end. Transparent Pets, any last words from you two?
Well, of course, Season 18 signups are now open and available. Please go sign up. Go sign up for Season 18. It's going to be great fun. It's a lovely season. It's going to be beautiful summer sun all the way through the season. And, you want to be playing HOTS during that. It always feels great. But yeah, the Nexus Rumble will return soon. Of course, this is the grand last final. So big thank you once again to everybody who has helped out with all the seasons, all the everything, everyone who's cast any of the playoff matches, whether they be grand finals, whether they be just the semis or the quarterfinals. Obviously, those go out during the week now. There's some off-season stuff coming up, so be sure to check out that in the lounge, !Discord if you want to get involved in the Discord. We are here. We're having a great deal of fun. Yeah, there we go. That's my stuff to say. Once again, doing all the loungy bits. Pets, take it away for you.
And I just want to say congrats to all the players. Thank you all to the viewers as well for watching. Hope everyone enjoyed. I think we all had a blast casting these matches. And just looking forward to the next season for more HOTS action.
All right, thank you two guys. This season, just a few words from myself as well. This season just has been incredible. The world is there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. COVID is coming to an end. The things in Ukraine don't speak of the things which are happening there are very, very sad. Athena has happened as well in between. And there's a lot of shake things between the season as well. At the start of the season, I had a little bit of a sad news, hearing that Karis would leave me on the casting side. But I've got Transparent coming in, and for the first time in quite some while, I've been, as he mentioned earlier, I've been the casting manager for almost 3 years now. On the 6th of June 2019, I've become casting manager, so it's getting close to those 3 years. And I feel like this season was the first season where I'm really happy to say I'm the casting manager, and we did some amazing work. We organized the Ukraine fundraiser. Transparent did do a great job in terms of the organizing for that, the Athena Championship as well. All of the stream team, a big shout out to those guys, Tofu, Nos, Skizor, and of course Aviator. Those guys came in and helped us out with a lot of things, so I actually managed to do also quite a lot of changes towards the things I wanted to do, and I hope to get the new casting scenes out for next season as well soon. So very big thanks to Transparent for jumping in with some fresh ideas, great stuff. Also big thanks to everyone on the season team. I have here some great plans coming up for the future for next season. It's just so incredible to still be here after 3 years and say this launch has come very fast. So thank you all for watching. I hope to see you guys next season again. Bye!
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.